In 2003, there were 3,603 suicides reported in the United States. Nearly 20 years later, in 2022, there were 49,449, which is the highest number of suicides reported in a year. There is a mental health crisis in America that is not receiving enough attention or help. These numbers should be decreasing, yet they have risen every single year but 2 since the year of 2000. We need to take action.
We need to spend a lot of time thinking about the 72,000 people who are taking their lives through drugs and overdosing. But we also have to keep in mind that there's an additional 47,000, almost 50,000 people taking their lives every year in other ways. Combined, obviously, we're well over 100,000 dying a year of this, and we're spending $6 billion. That's a fraction of what we were spending on HIV/AIDS when we were losing 50,000 lives.
Physical illnesses are undoubtedly vital, but mental illnesses are just as significant to address. A few action plans are: 1. Making counseling and therapy more easily accessible and affordable. 42% of adults with a mental illness reported that they couldn't afford to have proper treatment. Number 2, have mental wellness checks. Like physical wellness checks at the doctor, mental health checks should be strongly recommended and encouraged to everyone who has an annual checkup appointment in a doctor's office. Number 3, bring back mental hospitals. Mental hospitals were removed for several reasons. Because the treatment was considered inhumane, there was hope for cures with antipsychotic medications, and to save money. However, it has not worked out on any of the 3 fronts. There are now small wings in regular hospitals for mental health patients, which do not provide enough space or enough care. Patients are sent off with medications that often do not reduce most symptoms.
Psychiatric illness is really one of the most important risk factors for suicide.
Saving money by getting rid of mental hospitals is not saving lives. We need to bring back spaces that are welcoming and caring for patients that will give them plenty of time to recover.
We also have to increase access and availability of services.
However, the most significant thing is to get rid of stigma. Many people who struggle with suicide do not want to come forward due to the social stigma that revolves around mental health. They may feel embarrassed, like a burden, or just alone due to the negative stereotypes. Unfortunately, this happens all too often, and in too many cases, it can result in a suicide. 17-year-old Carson Vincent took his own life without any specific explanation. He had just graduated from Ovid-Elsie High School, a small community in Michigan, and was following his dreams of playing basketball in college. He was a high school superstar. Some would consider him a celebrity in the community for his talent in sports.
Well, Carson Vincent, and I think I can say without hesitation, we're going to give the sponsor plug, but there's our player of the game right there, Joe.
Carson had broken school records and made history for the boys' varsity basketball team. But not only were his talents recognized, Carson was also known to be a very kind-hearted, selfless person.
He was friends with everybody that he could be. He liked to stick up for people that were picked on or just maybe wasn't part of the cool kids.
In some ways, Carson seemed to have it all. But on September 16, 2018, he took his own life. Carson had come home from college and decided to go out and prepare for hunting season with his dad when his mother, Michelle Vincent, received a text from Carson's girlfriend that seemed off. Michelle called her husband to ensure everything was all right, but soon after received yet another text message from Carson's girlfriend telling her to check his dresser drawer for a note.
I remember dropping my phone, running to his room to look in this dresser, and there it was rolled up. It was something like, "Dear Mom, I'm sorry. I couldn't do it anymore."
By the time she finished reading the note, her husband was calling her, telling her that Carson was gone. She was in utter shock, not knowing why her son would have taken his own life, and refused to believe it at first. She had no idea Carson was struggling.
I wondered if he was going to just be fine. Would he need surgery? Is he going to make it to the basketball season at college? This is all that he wanted, even though I had already been told he was gone.
Ever since, Michelle has been nonstop advocating for suicide prevention. She's created a page where she shares positive messages, connects with people, and allows viewers to see her raw emotion.
I did not realize how much it hurts.
Educating ourselves with the warning signs of suicide is crucial. If someone doesn't feel comfortable enough to speak up, we need to see the signs and reach out to them. Warning signs include feeling unbearable emotional physical pain, feeling hopeless or like there's no reason to live, feeling like a burden to others, withdrawing from friends or family, extreme mood swings, eating or sleeping more or less, using drugs and alcohol more often, and having guilt or shame. Let's educate ourselves and take action.